All right, Dreadlords, now that we've got in from an awesome session and we just cleaned our boards, it's time to do some general care and maintenance. Once we get home, typically all the moisture in the board dries up and we see that salt and debris still on the board. So what we want to do is get in there, get all the salt and debris out so we have a nice board that'll last forever. So going into the Flite board, but notice that we have a very clean battery housing here. A lot of the manufacturers have all their components in this part of the board. So it's a good idea to get in there, get in all the little nicks and crannies, blow out the sand, wipe off the debris so your board will last a long time. And also we want to make sure that we lubricate and put some sort of rust inhibitor or corrosion inhibitor on all of our metal components. You can use silicone, you can use WD-40, Saltway, there's many products out there and we'll list them down below. All right, so what I want to do is take this little micro cloth here and we're going to wipe down all of our seals, getting that gasket really well. This is going to help ensure a watertight compartment and prevent any water from leaking into the battery cell. Then we want to wipe out all the sand inside of here. What happens if you leave sand in the battery housing? When you put the actual Flite cell back in the board, it's going to scratch. So we want to make sure all the sand and debris gets out of there. We want to make sure that all the water, any kind of sand and debris that's inside these latches is all out. And then also the latch housing here, which locks the door to the board, we want to make sure that we clean all the water and sand out of there, as it can collect over time and create unwanted corrosion and scratches. All right, now that we have the whole interior of the board clean, we're going to close the door and we're going to make sure that our hinges are clean. So with these hinges, for some reason, the little bushings inside the stainless steel hinges, they love the rust. Doesn't matter which hinge you have, but we got to clean them. So using some sort of Saltway, corrosion, rust inhibitor is a great idea. Silicone goes a long way, so we highly recommend that. Now, if we flip the board over, all right. So getting over to the Flite box flange here, we have our orange O-ring. These O-rings can crack or stretch out and wear, so it's a good idea to lubricate those with silicone and replace if needed. Now our screws, sometimes the screw inserts and the screws can collect a lot of debris, especially if you're using Tef gel. So what we want to do is we'll remove these. You can soak these in mineral spirits to get any kind of grime off of them. And then we're going to use our little cleaner tool here. And we can just brush all the threads, get them nice and clean. You can also take this tool and you can dip it inside of the insert and just spin it counterclockwise, and that's going to bring all the debris out of the insert. So you get a nice clean insert there, and that'll help allow your screws screw in nice and easy. All right, and that's pretty much it for taking care of your board. Just reminder, make sure all the salt and debris is out of there. It's going to make your board last a long time and make you enjoy your ride. Now let's clean up our eFoil. So first things first, we want to clean all the debris that gets inside of these little cracks. So what we can do is we can take our little brush tool, we can brush inside of there, getting all that sand out. We can also hit at the top of the mast, get all that sand and debris out of those cracks and crevices. Another thing that you want to do is occasionally you want to clean these contact points. So we want to spray a little bit of contact cleaner inside of here just to make sure our connection to our battery is flawless. Now, moving on to the base of the eFoil. We have our anode, and underneath the anode is this little plastic cap. A lot of times we get salt and debris lodged up inside of here. So what you can do is you can flush it out with a hose, you can take your tool, break everything up, and then we can use our blower and we can blow all the debris out of there. So that's an easy way to clean that. Now, looking at our fuselage cap, we get a lot of grime and salt that builds up around the edges of the cap. So it's very important that we clean this area. We blast any salt, sand off the cables, out of these little channels here, and that is going to ensure a longer lasting eFoil. It's also important to clean our fuselage cap. A lot of times we get a lot of grime and debris that gets lodged up in our fuselage cap, and that'll cause more debris to attach to the eFoil. So clean your caps, clean your eFoil, and you'll have a long-lasting eFoil. And that pretty much sums up how to maintain your eFoil. So when it comes to post-ride care for your Flite cell, here are some important things to consider. Salt, sand, and debris loves to get lodged up inside these small crevices of your battery. So it's very important that we keep your battery clean so you can have a long-lasting battery. After we ride, we tend to have wet hands and wet arms, wet sleeves, which when we carry our board, we tend to drip water into the tops of the battery. When it dries, this leaves a salt residue, sand residue, so it's very important that we wipe that all out and keep it clean. So we can use a microfiber towel to wipe out the inside spaces, and then we can also use our blower to blow out any sand debris within those crevices. Another important thing is to clean our connectors. This will allow our battery to run efficiently with the board. So using some sort of contact cleaner, cleaning out all of our connectors is a great idea. Next, when it comes to storage, we want to store our Flite cells around the 40% range when storing them for a long period of time. When it comes to short-term storage, we always want to keep them around 90 to 100%. I personally just like to throw them right on the charge after use. However, waiting about 30 minutes is a good idea to allow the Flite cell to cool down. Now, for any reason you find that you have water in your Flite cell and your sight glass shows red, it's very important that you give us a call or give your Flite service center a call in order to make sure that your Flite board can run smoothly and safely out on the water. Lithium and salt water do not mix, so make sure that your battery is clean and water-free. Now this concludes our battery care and maintenance. So take care of your board, take care of your eFoil, and take care of your battery. If you do this, you'll be able to send it for hours and hours and hours. So let's get out there and enjoy the ride and keep your stuff clean.